This happened about 2 years ago when I was 18 and in my last year of high school. Like a lot of girls, I was really into Instagram at the time. I'd post pictures a few times a month and get a good amount of likes. Sometimes I'd get creepy comments or messages from older men, but I usually just deleted them and didn't think much of it. In the early fall of 2018, I posted a picture with a friend at school. Not long after, an older man commented something like, "You're so beautiful," with heart emojis. I didn't know who he was, so I clicked on his profile. He had no followers and looked like he was at least 50. I deleted the comment right away. A little later, I got a direct message from him. It said, "Hey, I'd love to meet you. Are you interested?" I didn't reply. I just deleted the message and blocked him. I wasn't too worried since I'd seen messages like that before. But about a week later, I got another message from a different account. It was the same man, but now using a new profile. This time he asked, "Why did you block me?" Then a few minutes later, another message popped up. "I know where you live. If you don't want to meet me, I can come see you." He followed that with my actual home address. That's when I started to panic. I knew this wasn't just some random creep. I wanted to wait for my dad to come home so I could show him what was going on. But by the time he got home, the account had disappeared. I tried to push it out of my mind over the next few days, but it was hard not to be scared, knowing someone knew where I lived. After about a week, I began to feel a little less worried and thought maybe it was over. Then one morning, I woke up and noticed something strange on my bedroom floor. A stack of photos was lying near my window, which was cracked open about an inch. I picked up the photos and my heart dropped. There were about 10 pictures of me, all taken from outside my window. I couldn't believe it. Someone had been watching me, taking pictures through my window. They were all similar, just me in my room, not even knowing someone was there. I ran downstairs, showed my parents, and we called the police. It's been 2 years now, and nothing else has happened since. I still don't know if it was a twisted prank or something worse, but it's something I'll never forget. A few years ago, something happened that still bothers me. Back in 2018, my boyfriend Mark died in his sleep from a heart attack. It was sudden, and even the doctors couldn't explain it. He didn't smoke much, and he seemed healthy, so none of it made sense. I was heartbroken. I cried every day and couldn't stop thinking about him. The day after Mark passed, his parents came and took all his stuff. They only left me with a few pictures of us together, along with the ones I had on my phone. It was hard to move on, but after some months, I decided to start fresh in a new city and got a job at a retail store. One night, while I was lying in bed texting a friend, I got a notification from Instagram. It was a message request from someone I didn't recognize, but the username looked oddly familiar. I realized it was Mark's Instagram handle. My heart dropped. I stared at it for a moment before opening the chat. It had his profile picture too, and I just froze. Mark was really active on social media before he died, so this freaked me out. I quickly typed, "Who is this? Why are you using my boyfriend's account?" I was angry and upset. The person replied, saying they knew everything about Mark. I thought it had to be some kind of cruel joke, maybe one of his friends. I couldn't understand why anyone would do this after he died. I replied, "This isn't funny. It's really disrespectful." Then I got no response. 2 weeks later, I got another message from the same account, but this time it was worse. The message said, "He never loved you. He wanted you dead." That was when I lost it. I screamed at the person through text, telling them to stop and calling them twisted. Then I blocked the account and went straight to Mark's parents to tell them what had happened. What they told me still gives me chills. They said their house had been broken into one night, and the only things taken were Mark's belongings, including his phone. That's when I realized this wasn't just a sick joke. It was something much more disturbing. I've always used Instagram a lot, not to post much, but just to scroll and look at pictures. A few months later, something strange happened with my account. I had around 200 followers and followed about 300 people. Nothing crazy. I only had 3 posts, and they weren't anything special. Then one day, I suddenly got 50 notifications. I was confused. When I checked, I saw that my pictures were getting a ton of comments, but all of them were awful. People were calling me ugly and saying I was a horrible person. I didn't get it. I checked the accounts, and while most of them were private, they seemed like normal people. I didn't know any of them, though. Then, the direct messages started coming in, full of hateful words. I asked one person why they were saying such mean things to me, and they just replied, "You know why." But I didn't. I had no idea what I had done to deserve this. The hate didn't stop. It kept coming the next day. I couldn't handle it, so I deleted my account. About a week later, I made a new account, and thankfully, everything has been normal since then. But I still wonder who those people were and why they were so angry at me for no reason. I've had my Instagram account for about 6 years now. Back when I was a teenager, I used to post all the time, but nowadays I barely post anything. I just check the app once a day to see what my friends are up to. Recently, I lost my phone and thought it was a good excuse to get a new one. I tried using the Find My Phone feature, but it showed the phone was about 25 miles away. I didn't think it was worth trying to track it down, so I let it go. A few days later, I got a message from a guy I used to go to school with. I hadn't talked to him in years, and we weren't even following each other. He said someone was using my pictures on a fake Instagram account. He sent me the link, and when I checked, I realized he was right. There was an account pretending to be me, but with a different name. The worst part? This account had pictures that I'd never posted on Instagram, photos that were only on my old phone. That's when my stomach sank. I realized whoever found my phone must have cracked my password. The fake account didn't have a lot of followers, maybe around 40, and it was following about 130 people. Most of the posts had 5 to 10 likes and not many comments, mostly just random emojis like fire emojis. But then I saw something that made my heart race. The account had posted a story. When I clicked on it, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was a video, looping over and over, showing the outside of my house, panning from my front door to my car in the driveway. I felt sick. Whoever was behind this knew where I lived. They had access to everything on my phone, and now they were watching me. The story had been posted just a few hours earlier. I immediately tried the Find My Phone feature again, hoping to see if the phone was nearby. But while I was doing that, I remembered something else from that night, something that made everything worse. You see, a few days before I lost my phone, I had gone to this really sketchy party with a friend of mine named Kevin. It was at this old, run-down house in a neighborhood I wasn't familiar with. Kevin said he knew the people there, so I went along, thinking it would be fun. But the moment we walked in, I regretted it. The house was a disaster. There was trash everywhere, old pizza boxes, beer cans, and the smell was awful. There were people passed out on the couch, barely moving, and everyone looked strung out. Kevin seemed fine, like he knew them all, but I was on edge. One guy, Skip, who was probably in his mid-20s, introduced himself and gave Kevin a high five. He looked me up and down with this creepy smile, and his yellow teeth made my skin crawl. Another guy, much older, just stared at me in silence, like he was sizing me up. I felt so uncomfortable, but I didn't know where I was, and my phone battery was down to 5%. I texted my friend Lisa, who was supposed to meet up with us, but she wasn't responding. Kevin led me to a screened-in porch out back, where there were a few other people hanging out. There were only 2 girls, and they were barely dressed, looking super thin. Everyone else just stared at me, but I felt a little better being in a group. At least I wasn't alone with Kevin. That relief didn't last long, though. One by one, the girls and guys went back inside, leaving me alone with Kevin. He started getting weird, telling me I was cute, and then giving me this awkward back rub. I thanked him, trying to laugh it off, but when he stepped in front of me and asked if I wanted to go somewhere more private, I froze. In a shaky voice, I told him, "I'm not that kind of girl." He looked angry for a split second, and I felt my eyes well up with tears. But just then, something amazing happened. One of the girls who had gone inside started screaming at everyone, swearing and making a scene. Kevin ran upstairs, leaving me alone. Without thinking twice, I got up, climbed out a window, and ran. I had no idea where I was going, but I just kept running until I found a gas station. I went inside and asked the clerk to let me use the phone. My phone had died, so I couldn't call anyone myself. Luckily, the clerk was really nice and let me use the store's phone to call my parents. They came to pick me up, and I finally felt safe. But as I was waiting for them, Kevin and Skip walked into the gas station. They didn't see me, but I couldn't believe they were there. Were they looking for me? I couldn't shake the feeling that they were, and my heart started racing all over again. I hid in the back of the store until they left. The next day, Lisa called me, crying and apologizing for not showing up. She had no idea what had happened, but I told her everything. It's been almost 10 years since that night, but I still think about it sometimes. I was lucky to get out of that situation unharmed, but it could have been so much worse. I haven't seen Kevin or Skip since, and I hope I never do. It all started pretty harmlessly, a follow request on Instagram. I didn't think much about it. I post often, keep my account public, and get new followers all the time. But something about this one seemed strange. The account had no profile picture, no posts, and a weird username. Just random letters and numbers. Still, they didn't message me or comment, so I ignored it. Over the next few days, I noticed this account liking my photos one by one. What made me uncomfortable was how far back they went, liking photos from years ago when I first started my account. It gave me a weird feeling, but I brushed it off. People on the internet do strange things all the time, right? But then it got worse. Late one night, as I was getting ready for bed, I got a notification, a direct message from that same account. The message just said, "Hi." My gut told me not to reply, but I was curious. So I typed back, "Who is this?" and hit send. The reply sent a chill down my spine. "You already know who I am." I blocked the account immediately, but the next morning, things got even scarier. I woke up to another follow request, this time from a different account with the same username. But now there was a profile picture, and it was a picture of me. The account had the same bio, and terrifyingly, it had all my photos. Every single one, even photos I hadn't posted yet, the ones still saved in my drafts. I started panicking. How was this possible? How could someone get into my private pictures? I checked my email for signs of hacking, but there was nothing. I changed all my passwords, added two-factor authentication, and even deleted some of my posts, hoping it would stop. But the worst part? That account was still there, watching. That evening, I got another message from the clone account. This time, it wasn't just a word, it was a video. My hands were shaking as I opened it. The video was shaky, but I knew the place right away. It was outside my apartment building. Whoever was filming stopped the video right at my window. They weren't saying anything, just standing there, watching. I freaked out and slammed my phone down. I called the police, but they couldn't really do anything. They said it was probably just a hacker or someone messing with me. But I knew it was more than that. Someone wasn't just watching me online, they were watching me in real life. The next day, I deleted my Instagram account, but even now, I still get messages from random, empty profiles. Every now and then, I'll receive a message with a picture of me, taken from somewhere I don't even remember being. I've moved twice since then, but somehow, they always seem to find me. I run a small business on Instagram, so I'm always checking my followers, engagement, and messages. One day, I got a new follower notification. The account didn't have a profile picture or any posts, which isn't uncommon for business pages. I often get followers who are just browsing or new to the app. But what caught my attention right away was the username. It was my sister's name. Now, that wouldn't normally be too weird, except for one thing. My sister passed away over a year ago. At first, I tried to tell myself it was just a coincidence, but I couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that came over me. I clicked on the profile, hoping to get some answers, but the account was completely blank. No followers, no following, no posts, just her name. I stared at it for a while, feeling unsettled. It felt too close, too personal. That night, as I was scrolling through Instagram before bed, I saw something that made my heart race. The same account, my sister's name, had liked one of my old posts. Not just any post, though. It was the one I made on the anniversary of her death. My hands started shaking. I clicked on the profile again, but this time, it was gone, like it had never existed. I told myself it had to be a glitch. Maybe Instagram was acting up, Or maybe someone was playing a sick joke, but deep down, I knew something wasn't right. I couldn't get it out of my head. A few days later, the account appeared again. It followed me and sent me a direct message. I was scared, but I had to know. I opened the message, and it was just 3 words: I miss you. Those were the exact words my sister used to text me every week before she passed away. My stomach dropped. I just stared at the screen, my heart racing, feeling like I couldn't breathe. How could this be happening? How did someone know? That message, that name, that day, it felt too real. I blocked the account and reported it to Instagram, but the feeling wouldn't go away. Every time I open the app now, I brace myself, half expecting to see her name again. Sometimes, late at night, I'll hear a notification ping, and that same chill runs down my spine. I still don't know if it was a cruel prank, or if somehow my sister found a way to reach out to me one last time. But I don't think I'll ever know for sure. I've always kept my Instagram pretty simple. Just personal photos, some travel pics, and updates for friends and family. Nothing too serious. About 3 months ago, I noticed a new follower. The account had no posts, no bio, and no mutual friends. I figured it was either a bot or a random person, so I ignored it. They didn't do much at first, just liked a post here and there. But then things started to get weird. The account began liking every single post I made, and quickly, no matter what time I posted, day or night, within seconds, there was a like from them. It felt odd, but I brushed it off until one day I posted a photo at a coffee shop I go to often. A few minutes later, I got a DM from that account. It said, "I like that coffee shop too. See you soon." My heart dropped. They knew where I was. I tried to calm myself, thinking maybe they just recognized the place. But the idea that someone I didn't know was following me, not just online, but possibly in real life, made me feel sick. I asked who they were, but got no reply. I tried to ignore it, hoping it was just some random message, but the anxiety stayed with me. A few days later, I posted another photo, this time from the park near my apartment. Again, the same account liked it within minutes, and I got another DM. This one said, "You look nice in that blue jacket." The jacket I was wearing in the photo wasn't mentioned in the post. There was no way they could have known unless they were there, watching me. My stomach turned. I blocked the account and reported them, but deep down, I knew it wasn't over. A week went by with nothing happening, and I tried to go back to my routine. Then, while I was out shopping, I felt that strange sensation, the one where you just know someone is watching you. I looked around but didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I shrugged it off and went home. That night, I got a new DM request from a different account. No posts, no bio again, but the message chilled me. "Why did you block me?" I didn't reply, and I didn't sleep that night. I called the police, but they couldn't do much without any direct threats. They advised me to stay off social media for a while. That night, I deleted my Instagram, hoping it would all stop, but it didn't. 2 days later, I got a text from an unknown number. It was a photo of me taken that morning while I was walking home from the grocery store. They had been following me. My heart pounded in my chest. This was no longer a game. I packed up and moved to a different part of the city a week later. I haven't heard from them since, but I'll never truly feel safe again. I've always been into photographing old buildings, especially ones that have been abandoned. There's just something about them that fascinates me. So when I found an old, rundown mansion just outside of town, I knew I had to take some pictures. I spent an afternoon wandering around, capturing the overgrown garden, the cracked walls, and the shattered windows. The place had an eerie vibe, but I don't believe in ghosts, so I didn't feel scared. That night, I posted a few of the photos on Instagram. Not long after, something strange happened. One of the pictures, the one of the mansion's front door, got a comment that made me uneasy. It was from an account I'd never seen before, and the comment simply said, "You shouldn't have come here." I clicked on the profile, but it was empty. No posts, no profile picture, no followers, nothing. I tried to brush it off as someone messing around, but the more I looked at the comment, the more it got under my skin. I ended up deleting it and went to bed. The next morning, I woke up to another comment from the same account. This time, it was on a different photo, the one of the broken windows. It said, "We saw you." I immediately deleted the comment and blocked the account, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Later that day, I started getting DMs from the account. The messages were weird, like broken sentences that didn't make much sense. Don't come back. We are watching. Leave us alone. It was unsettling, but what really freaked me out was the thought that whoever it was had to know I'd been at the mansion. And even after I blocked them, the messages kept coming. By that evening, I convinced myself it was just some kind of prank. But before bed, I checked Instagram one last time, and my heart stopped. There was a new DM, and it was a picture of me. I was standing in front of the mansion, but it wasn't a picture I had taken. In fact, I wasn't even holding my camera in the shot. The photo was taken from inside the mansion, through the broken window, as if someone or something had been watching me the entire time. I reported the account, deleted all the photos from that day, and never went back to that mansion. But every once in a while, late at night, my phone will buzz with a DM request, and I'm too scared to open it. I never paid much attention to my Instagram followers. Like most people, I figured they were just other users who liked my photos or admired the places I visited. Sometimes I'd get harmless messages or compliments from strangers, but there was one account that caught my eye. At first, I didn't think much of it. The account had no profile picture, no posts, and nothing in their bio, just the username at Observer103. I started to notice this account liked almost every photo I posted, but they never commented or sent DMs. It seemed odd but harmless. Then one day, I posted a selfie from my balcony. It was a typical Sunday morning, coffee in hand, with the city skyline behind me. Minutes later, I got a message from Observer103. It was the first time they had ever reached out. The message said, "You look nice today. I like that view from your balcony." I froze. I hadn't mentioned I was on my balcony in the post, and there were no hashtags or captions that gave my location away. My heart started racing as I stared at the message. I replied cautiously, asking, "Do I know you?" A minute later, they responded, "I see you every day." That was it. I blocked the account right away. I felt a surge of nerves, but tried to calm down. Maybe it was just someone messing with me, or a strange coincidence. I checked the locks on my door and tried to convince myself it was nothing. But a week later, things got worse. I had just come home from a late dinner with friends when I posted a picture of my meal. Almost instantly, I got another message from a different account. Same blank profile, different username. This one said, "Your apartment looks cozy at night." I hadn't posted anything from my apartment that night. How did they know I was home? That's when it hit me. Someone was physically watching me. I reported the account again, blocked them, and decided to take a break from posting. The next day, I stayed inside with the curtains drawn, feeling paranoid that whoever was stalking me might be close by. That evening, I got a notification for a follow request from a new account. This time, the profile picture showed my apartment building, taken from across the street. The message said, "You can't block me in real life." I called the police that night, but by the time they got there, no one was outside. They told me to stay with a friend for a while, so I did. A month later, I moved to a new place. I haven't posted on Instagram since, but sometimes when I'm out on the street, I still get that feeling that someone is watching me. I wonder if I'll ever truly be free of them. I run a small photography business focusing on nature shots and portraits. Most of my work goes on Instagram, where I've built a decent following. People often reach out for bookings or comment on my photos, and I enjoy the interaction. Until one day I received a strange direct message. It was from an account I didn't recognize. The profile picture was generic, and the username was forgettable. The message was simple: "I can hear them in your photos." At first, I laughed, thinking it was some quirky compliment. I didn't respond, but a few hours later, they sent another message: "They're calling for you." I stared at my screen, confused. What did they mean? I decided to ignore it and go on with my day, thinking it was just a weird user. A few days passed without any more messages, but then things took a turn. I posted a new photo of a forest I had visited. It was a misty morning, and the trees looked almost haunted in the fog. That same account messaged me again. "They're coming out of the woods." I felt uneasy. How could they know where I had been? The message felt like a warning, but I didn't understand what it meant. I showed the messages to my friends, but they brushed it off, saying it was probably just someone trying to be creepy for attention. But the messages kept coming. Every time I posted a photo, they would say something strange. If it was a picture of the ocean, they'd message, "The sea is restless tonight." If it was a sunset, I'd get, "It's watching you." I blocked the account, but they kept coming back with new profiles. Every time I blocked one, another appeared. It felt relentless, and the messages became more specific, referencing things about my life, places I had visited that I hadn't even posted about, and private conversations I had with friends. The last straw came when I posted a portrait of a client taken in an old, abandoned church. The latest message read, "You should never have gone there." That night, I started to hear whispering in my apartment. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but as the night went on, it grew louder, sounding like voices coming from the walls. I couldn't make out what they were saying, but it felt like they were calling my name. After that, I deleted Instagram. I haven't gone back since, but sometimes I still hear faint whispers, like they're coming from far away. I'm scared that whatever I've invited into my life isn't just a stalker. It feels like something much worse. I'm a photographer who loves sharing night shots of the city on Instagram. I usually get nice comments like, "Amazing view," or "Love the colors." But one night, I posted a picture of an alleyway I had shot on my way home. The caption was simple, just a quote about the city's quiet side. Within minutes, I got a comment that sent chills down my spine. "That's where I died." At first, I thought someone was just trying to be edgy. But when I clicked on the profile, I found nothing. No posts, no followers, no picture. The comment just sat there, staring at me. I deleted it, trying to shake off the weird feeling. The next night, I posted a photo of a different part of the city, hoping to forget about the strange comment. But again, the same account commented, "You're close, so close." My heart started racing. What did that even mean? I blocked the account. But then it got worse. A few days later, I took a late night walk and posted a shot from the park. As soon as I hit share, I got another notification from the same account. "I'm behind you." I spun around, but there was no one there, just the empty park lit by streetlights. Since then, I haven't posted anything. Sometimes when I walk alone at night, I think I hear footsteps behind me. But when I turn around, there's no one there, just shadows. I run a small business taking portraits for people who book me through Instagram. One day, a girl messaged me, asking for a photo shoot in a secluded area near an old church on the edge of town. I thought it was a cool idea. People often want unique locations for their photos. The shoot went well, but as I was editing the pictures later, I noticed something strange. In one of the photos, there was a figure in the background. I hadn't seen anyone while I was shooting, and this figure looked like it was wearing old-fashioned clothes, blending into the shadows of the trees. I tried to tell myself it was just a trick of the light or something. I sent the pictures to the girl, but she never replied. A week later, I checked her profile, and it was gone, completely erased. I figured she must have deleted her account. Then 2 days later, I got a DM from an account I didn't recognize. It was a picture from the shoot, but I wasn't alone in it. The same figure, now clearer, was standing right behind me. The message said, "You've seen too much." I wanted to check the original files, but every photo from that day had vanished from my hard drive. All I have left is the memory, and the feeling that something from that shoot is still watching me. Like most people, I sometimes post selfies on Instagram. A few months ago, I posted a mirror selfie in my bedroom. It was nothing special, just me smiling at the camera. After I posted it, one of my followers sent me a message, "Who's that behind you?" I looked at the photo again. It was just me and my reflection. There was no one behind me. But that message stuck in my mind, so I zoomed in to check every corner of the image. Then I saw it, a faint silhouette in the corner of the mirror, just behind my shoulder. It was hard to notice, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. My heart raced. I had been alone when I took that picture. I checked my room, but it was empty. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary. I deleted the post and tried to forget about it. A few days later, I posted another selfie in a different room. Again, the same follower messaged me, "It's getting closer." I looked at the new photo. There it was again, clearer this time. The same figure now standing just behind me, its outline sharper and more distinct. That night, I deleted my Instagram account and covered every mirror in my house. But sometimes, out of the corner of my eye, I still think I see it, watching. I post regularly on Instagram and keep an eye on my follower count because it's important for building my brand. A few months ago, I noticed a new follower. Their account had no posts, no bio, but they liked every single one of my photos. It felt creepy, but I figured it was just another odd user. What really weirded me out was that they viewed my stories within seconds, no matter when I posted them, 2 a.m., 6 p.m. They were always the first to see them. I started to feel paranoid. How could they always be online? One night, I posted a story of myself at a bar with friends. Just moments later, I got a DM from them that simply said, "I'm here too." I looked around the bar, my heart racing, but I didn't see anyone suspicious. I replied, "Who are you?" But they didn't answer. Instead, they unfollowed me right after. When I checked their account again, it was gone, deleted. It was like they never existed. I tried to shake it off, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. How did they know where I was? Sometimes I still wonder if they were actually watching me that night. And if they were, who else might be? A few weeks ago, I got tagged in a photo by a random account. The picture showed a group of people standing outside a movie theater, but I wasn't in it. I didn't recognize anyone in the photo. I thought it was strange, but I clicked on the tag anyway. The account was private, so I couldn't see anything else. I shrugged it off and moved on with my day. The next morning, I woke up to another tag. This time, it was a photo of a street near my apartment with people walking on the sidewalk. I still wasn't in it. I checked the account again, but it was still private. I felt uneasy but told myself it was just a mistake. Then came the third tag. This time the photo was of my building, my actual building. No people, just the entrance. That's when my unease turned into panic. I clicked the tag and sent a follow request to the account. A few minutes later, they accepted, and I finally saw their posts. Every single one was a picture of me. There I was, walking to work, sitting at a cafe, even going for a run. Each picture had been taken without my knowledge. My hands shook as I tried to report the account, but before I could do anything, it disappeared, just like that. I haven't been tagged since, but I can't shake the feeling that someone is still out there, watching me, waiting to tag me again. I love exploring abandoned places and sharing my adventures on Instagram. There's something hauntingly beautiful about decay and things left behind. One day, I found a half-rotten house deep in the woods. It was perfect for my next photo shoot. I took dozens of pictures, broken windows, a collapsing roof, and vines crawling through the walls, and uploaded a series of them to my account. The likes started pouring in, but then I got a DM from an account with no profile picture and a strange name. The message was simple: "You shouldn't have gone there." I shrugged it off, thinking it was just someone trying to creep me out. But an hour later, another message came: "Leave now before it finds you." That made me pause. This house wasn't famous. No one knew I was there except my followers, and I had just posted the pictures. I scrolled through the comments and noticed something strange. A few users mentioned they had visited the same house and had eerie experiences. One said they felt watched the whole time, and another claimed they heard whispers when no one was around. Curious, I decided to go back the next day. But when I arrived at the location, the house was gone, completely. There was no broken down structure, no remnants, just an empty clearing where it should have been. I stood there, stunned, trying to figure out if I had come to the wrong place, but my GPS confirmed I hadn't. Then my phone buzzed with a notification from Instagram. It was from that same account. The message read, "It found you." My blood ran cold when I saw there was a second attachment, a picture. I opened it and there it was, a photo of me standing in the clearing, taken from behind, as if someone was watching me right then. I spun around, but no one was there. I ran all the way back to my car. I've deleted every picture I took that day, but no matter how many times I clear my cache, That photo of me in the clearing always reappears in my gallery waiting for me. I'm a makeup artist, and I love sharing my latest looks on Instagram. Everything was going great until one day I got a message from a strange account. It was a photo of me, and at first I thought it was from a fan who had seen me at an event, but then I realized it was a candid shot of me walking down the street, completely unaware someone was taking my picture. The caption said, "I like the way your shadow follows you." That gave me chills. I replied, asking who they were, but they never answered. I ended up blocking the account and tried to forget about it. A few days later, I posted a new makeup look, and within minutes, I got another message from a different account. This one said, "Your shadow looked different today." I was confused because I hadn't said anything about shadows. I thought it was just another troll and tried to move on. But the messages kept coming. Every time I posted, they'd comment about my shadow. "It's moving too fast," or "It's watching you." One night, while I was doing my skincare routine in front of the mirror, I saw it. Out of the corner of my eye, my shadow moved. But I hadn't moved at all. It stretched across the wall in a weird way. I quickly turned around, my heart racing, but there was no one there. The shadow went back to normal, flat against the wall. That night, I got one last message. "I'm not the only one watching you." The next day, I deleted my account. Even now, sometimes I feel like my shadow doesn't follow me the way it's supposed to. I've always loved taking pictures of sunsets. There's something so calming about watching the light fade and seeing the sky fill with colors. I often share my sunset photos on Instagram, and I've built a small following of people who appreciate nature's beauty. One evening, while driving home, I stopped at an old bridge to capture a particularly beautiful sunset. It was one of my best shots, and I couldn't wait to post it. As soon as I shared the photo, I got a like from a random account with a black profile picture. Then I received a message that said, "Nice shot, but you weren't alone." I stared at the message, confused. I looked at the photo again. It was just the sunset, the bridge, and the river below. No one else in sight. But something felt off, so I zoomed in, scanning every part of the picture. That's when I saw it. Near the edge of the bridge, just barely visible in the shadows, was the faint outline of a person. I hadn't noticed anyone when I took the picture. My heart raced, and I messaged back, "Who is that?" The reply came quickly. "I don't know, but they're watching you now." I felt a wave of nausea. I deleted the photo, blocked the account, and tried to tell myself it was just a weird trick of the light. But the next day, when I opened Instagram, the photo was back on my feed. I didn't repost it, but there it was again. This time, the figure looked clearer and closer to the camera. I deleted it once more, but every time I opened the app, it would reappear. Each time, the figure in the background looked a little closer, a little clearer. After that, I stopped using Instagram altogether. Still, sometimes when I drive home and pass that bridge, I swear I can see someone standing there watching me. I love using hashtags on Instagram to help my posts get seen and to connect with new followers. One day, I found a strange hashtag, "Seen from the Shadows." I was curious, so I clicked on it. The photos I saw were creepy. Empty streets at night, abandoned houses, spooky forests. They looked like something out of a horror movie. Intrigued, I decided to use that hashtag on a picture of an old mansion I took while hiking. Almost right away, I started getting messages from weird accounts. They didn't say anything, just sent blurry photos of places I didn't know. I didn't think much of it until one message caught my eye. It was a picture of my apartment building, taken from the street. I hadn't shared anything about where I lived, and my stomach dropped. I replied, asking who they were, but got no answer. The next morning, I woke up to tons of notifications. Each one was from a different account, each posting pictures of my neighborhood, getting closer and closer to my apartment. I blocked every account I could find, but the pictures kept coming, each one inching closer to my front door. Finally, I got a message from an account I hadn't seen before. It simply said, "Seen from the Shadows." Attached was a picture of my bedroom window, taken right outside. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I packed my things and moved out of the city. I never used that hashtag again. Sometimes I wonder if anyone else has found it and if they're seeing what I saw or something worse. I've always been interested in the paranormal, but I never thought I'd see it for myself. One night, I shared some photos from a trip to an old inn that people say is haunted. The inn has a spooky history, stories of people disappearing, guests hearing footsteps at night, and seeing shadows that shouldn't be there. I didn't notice anything strange while I was there, but I loved the creepy vibe, so I posted the pictures with a caption, "Maybe I'll come back and stay longer next time." A few hours later, I got a message from an account I didn't recognize. The profile had no posts or followers, nothing. The message was simple: "You already did." I stared at my screen, confused. I hadn't stayed there overnight, I just visited for the day. I replied, asking, "What do you mean?" A minute later, another message came through, "Check the last photo." My heart raced. I looked at my post again. All the pictures seemed normal. Old rooms, dusty furniture, peeling wallpaper. But when I got to the last photo, I felt a chill. It was a picture of me, standing at the front desk with a smile. But there was something wrong. I had no reflection in the mirror behind me, just a dark, empty space where my reflection should have been. I deleted the post and blocked the account, trying to forget about it. But every now and then, I still get messages from that account, no matter how many times I block them. The latest message simply said, "Welcome back." I've been posting on Instagram for years, sharing travel photos and bits of my life. One day I noticed a strange account that liked every single one of my posts just seconds after I uploaded them. It had no profile picture, no bio, and no posts, just a weird username. At first, I thought it was just a random bot, but then things got really odd. Every time I shared a new photo, I'd get a DM from that same account within seconds. They would send me blurry, zoomed-in pictures of the exact place I had just posted about, whether I was at a coffee shop, walking in a park, or even in my living room. The first time I thought it was just a coincidence, but after the third message, I started to freak out. How did they know where I was? I blocked the account and made my profile private, hoping that would end it. But a week later, I got a follow request from another account with a different name, but the same blank profile. I denied the request, and almost immediately, I got another DM. This time, it was a photo of my apartment building taken from across the street. I ran to my window and looked outside, but there was no one there. I reported the account, but Instagram didn't do anything. I deleted the app, but the messages didn't stop. Somehow, they found me on other platforms too. Every time I opened a new social media account, they would follow me, sending me photos of places I had just been or where I was right then. Then one night, while I was home alone, I got a notification on my phone. I hesitated before opening it, feeling that familiar dread. It was another photo, this time taken from inside my apartment. It showed me sitting on the couch, staring at my phone. I dropped my phone and ran out of my apartment without grabbing anything. I still haven't gone back. I don't know how they got inside, and I'm too scared to find out. Even now, whenever I go somewhere new, I check to see if they followed me again. I met Anna through Instagram. We followed each other, liked each other's posts, and left comments, just like any casual online friends do. Her account was full of beautiful landscapes, pictures of her dog, and shots from cafes and bookstores. We started chatting in DMs, and after a while, we exchanged numbers. She seemed like a genuinely nice person. A few weeks later, I mentioned that I was going on a solo road trip and planned to take photos for Instagram. Anna seemed excited and even recommended some spots along my route that she had visited before. She suggested a small, hidden hotel that wasn't listed online, saying it had the best view of the night sky. When I arrived at the hotel, it was just as she described: secluded, peaceful, and a little eerie. That night I posted a picture of the starry sky, and she commented almost instantly, "Beautiful view, isn't it?" I replied that it was, and that I was glad she had recommended it. The next morning, when I went to check out, the receptionist gave me a puzzled look. "There's no one else staying here," she said when I asked if anyone else had mentioned the hotel online. "In fact, we haven't had a guest here in months." Confused, I messaged Anna to ask how she had found the place, but she didn't reply. I waited a few more hours, thinking maybe she was busy. That night, while reviewing my photos, I noticed something strange. In every picture I had posted during the trip, there was a faint figure in the background. Sometimes in the woods, sometimes on the road behind me, but always there, a woman, watching. I zoomed in and felt my heart drop. It was Anna. She had been following me this whole time. Panicked, I tried to call her, but her number was disconnected. When I checked her Instagram, it was gone, completely erased. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong, so I started searching for her name, photos, anything. Finally, I found an old news article. Anna had been reported missing 5 years ago during a solo road trip. Her body was never found. To this day, I don't know who or what I was talking to, but sometimes when I'm driving alone at night, I still feel like she's watching me from the shadows, waiting for me to stop. I was never a big Instagram user, but I like posting stories now and then, usually boring stuff like my morning coffee or a walk in the park. One day, I noticed something strange. I posted a story, just a quick video of me walking down my street, but after an hour, it disappeared. It wasn't like it expired. It was like it had never been there. Confused, I thought maybe it was a glitch and tried posting again. This time, the story stayed up for about 30 minutes before vanishing without a trace. No notifications, no explanation. I even asked a few friends if they had seen my story, but they hadn't received any updates from me at all. I messaged Instagram support, but they just sent me a generic reply about technical issues. Then the messages started. At first, they came from a random account with no profile picture. The first DM simply said, "Stop posting." I ignored it, thinking it was just a troll. But as soon as I tried to post another story, it disappeared again. Then I got another message. I said, "Stop." I blocked that account, but new messages kept coming from different accounts, all with the same message: "Stop posting or you'll regret it." Finally, I stopped posting stories for a while, hoping the harassment would end. A few weeks later, feeling safe again, I posted a picture of me at a party with some friends. Almost immediately, I received a new DM from a different account. This time, it wasn't a warning. It was a picture of me, taken from behind at the same party I had just posted about, but from an angle that didn't seem possible unless someone had been right there watching me. The message beneath it said, "You didn't listen." I haven't posted a story since then, but sometimes I still get random messages from accounts I don't recognize. No words, just pictures of me, taken from angles I never saw, in places where I never knew I was being watched. I had always admired this Instagram influencer. Let's call her Emily. She had a huge following, and her life looked perfect. Her travel pictures, pretty shots of her home, everything looked like hash goals. I followed her for years, liked and commented on her posts, but I never expected her to notice me. Then one day, out of the blue, she followed me back. I was so excited. She even sent me a DM thanking me for being such a loyal follower. We started chatting regularly, and at first, she seemed really down to earth. But then things began to feel off. She started asking me personal questions, like what my daily routine was, what time I went to bed, and even what I wore to sleep. I thought it was a bit weird, but I figured she was just being friendly. Then she asked for my address, saying she wanted to send me a thank you gift for being such a supportive fan. I felt uncomfortable and said no, but she kept insisting. When I refused again, she got angry. Her messages changed from friendly to almost possessive. She sent cryptic messages like, "You owe me, and you wouldn't be anything without me." Then one day, I woke up to find she had posted a new story. It was a picture of my house, taken from the street outside. I panicked and tried to message her, but she had blocked me. I couldn't see her profile anymore. That night, I heard footsteps outside my window. I stayed completely still, hardly breathing, scared of what or who might be out there. The next morning, I checked her Instagram from a friend's account. She had posted another story. This time, it was a video of me, sleeping. I moved the next day, but sometimes I still check her account, just to make sure she hasn't found me again. It all started out innocently enough. I posted a new photo on Instagram from a small cafe downtown, just a simple snapshot of my coffee and a book. A few minutes later, I got a DM from an account I didn't recognize. The message said, "Nice shot, but the guy behind you looks a little too close, don't you think?" Confused, I looked back at my post. There was no one behind me, just a few empty tables. I thought it was some weird joke, so I ignored the message. A week later, I posted another photo, this time at a park. It was a bright sunny day, and I took a selfie by the lake. The same account sent me another message. He's in the background again, closer this time. My heart skipped a beat as I zoomed in. Sure enough, in the distance, barely visible through the trees, there was a figure. I didn't see anyone when I was at the park, and it sent chills down my spine. I blocked the account, but the next time I posted, the messages came back. This time, the photo was of me in my living room. I hadn't even posted it for 2 minutes before a new message popped up. He's inside now. I froze. I hadn't noticed anything strange when I took the picture, but when I looked closely at the reflection in the glass door behind me, there he was, a shadowy figure, just standing there, barely visible. He was watching me. I deleted the post immediately and made my account private. Since then, every night, I felt like someone is outside, watching me. I've checked every window and every door, but I never see anyone. I haven't posted on Instagram in weeks. But sometimes, in the middle of the night, I get a notification, a new message. I'm too scared to open it. I've never been one to believe in ghosts or anything paranormal. My Instagram was just a place to share my everyday life, workout selfies, brunch with friends, that kind of stuff. But after what happened, I'm not so sure anymore. It all started when I posted a picture of my apartment's new decor, a cute shelf I had put up in my living room. The post got the usual likes and comments, but one DM stood out. It was from a blank account with no profile picture and no posts. The message said, "Nice shelf, but I prefer the one you used to have." That's when things started to get weird. I had never posted a picture of my old shelf. It had been gone for months. How could anyone know what it looked like? I ignored the message, but over the next few days, strange things began happening. I'd come home to find things moved around, small stuff at first, like a book in a different spot, or my keys not where I'd left them. One night, I got home from work and found my front door slightly ajar. I rushed inside, but everything seemed normal, except for one thing. The old shelf, the one I had thrown out months ago, was back. It was sitting right where it used to be, filled with items I hadn't seen in ages. Panicking, I searched every corner of my apartment, but no one was there. I checked my Instagram, wondering if this was some kind of prank. Sure enough, I had another DM from that same account. "I knew you'd bring it back." I moved out the next day, but sometimes I still get notifications from Instagram. I don't open them anymore. I'm too scared of what I'll find. I had been growing my Instagram account steadily, mostly sharing travel photos and little moments from my life. One day, I noticed a new follower with no posts or profile picture, just a blank account. It wasn't the first time I'd seen a follower like that, so I thought nothing of it. But then the messages started. The account would DM me vague, unsettling comments like, "I know where you are," or "You looked great in that red dress." I thought it was just a troll at first, but then the messages got more specific. One said, "I saw you at the coffee shop today, right after I posted a picture from my morning stop at a local cafe." Feeling creeped out, I blocked the account, but more blank accounts kept following me. No matter how many I blocked, another one would show up within hours. Then I got a message from one of them, "You can't get rid of me that easily." I decided to take a break from Instagram, thinking I could shake the feeling of being watched. But even when I wasn't posting, the messages kept coming. They described things I was doing in real time, where I went, what I wore, who I was with. It didn't matter if I didn't post about it. One night, after weeks of this, I received a final message, "I'll see you soon." That was 3 months ago. I've deleted my Instagram since then, but I still can't shake the feeling that I'm being followed. Every now and then, I think I see someone out of the corner of my eye, just watching and waiting. I used to think Instagram was just a fun way to pass the time, until the night I started hearing whispers. It was a normal evening. I had posted a selfie like usual and was scrolling through my feed when I noticed something strange in the comments on my latest post. Among the usual emojis and compliments was a comment that made me feel uneasy. It said, "I like the way you laugh when no one's around." It was from an account with no profile picture, no posts, just that one creepy message. I laughed it off, thinking it was just a weird joke. But then I started hearing it, the whispering. It began softly, almost like it was coming from the walls. At first, I thought I was imagining it, but the more I tried to ignore it, the louder it got. It only happened when I was alone, scrolling through Instagram. One night, the whispering became so loud that I could hardly think. I tossed my phone aside, hoping it would stop, but when I picked it up again, I saw a new comment on my recent post. "You shouldn't have ignored me." That's when the lights in my apartment flickered. The whispering grew so loud it felt like someone was right behind me. I turned off my phone and haven't opened Instagram since. But sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet, I still hear the whispers. I've had my Instagram account for years, mostly posting normal stuff, photos of food, trips, and nights out with friends. A few months ago, I got a new follower. The account was completely blank. No picture, no posts, nothing. At first, I didn't think much of it. Lots of random accounts follow people, so I just ignored it. Things started getting strange when this account liked every post I made within seconds. No matter what time I posted, they'd like it right away. It felt weird, but not enough to worry me, at least not yet. One evening, I posted a story from a park near my house. I was sitting on a bench, alone, watching the sunset. A few minutes later, I got a DM from that blank account. It said, "Beautiful sunset. I like that park too." I froze. I hadn't tagged the location, hadn't mentioned it anywhere before, and I didn't see anyone around while I was there. I quickly looked around the park, but there wasn't a single person in sight. My heart raced, but I tried to brush it off. Maybe it was just a coincidence, I thought. I deleted the story and put my phone away. The next morning, I woke up to another DM from the same account. "Why didn't you stay at the park longer?" That's when I felt real fear. I blocked the account immediately. But within hours, a new account popped up. Same thing, no picture, no posts, and followed me again, liking everything I posted. Everywhere I went, the DMs followed. "Nice coffee shop. You look good in that red jacket. The beach was pretty empty today, huh?" I stopped going out. I stopped posting. But the messages didn't stop. One night, while I was lying in bed, scrolling through old photos, I got one last DM from the account. "Look outside." My hands shook as I reached for the curtains. When I finally pulled them open, there was someone standing in the street, just watching me. The account went silent after that. But sometimes, late at night, I still see someone standing near my apartment, just waiting. It all started with what I thought was just a glitch. I was getting ready for a night out, so I snapped a quick mirror selfie to post on Instagram, like I always do. I uploaded it without thinking and continued getting ready. A few minutes later, comments started coming in. Most were normal, looking good, or love that dress. But one comment stopped me in my tracks. "Who's the woman in the mirror?" My heart sank. I was alone in my apartment. I looked at the photo again, zooming in on the mirror behind me. At first, I didn't notice anything strange, but then I saw her. In the corner of the mirror, there was a figure, blurry but definitely there. It looked like a woman, standing just behind me, her face turned slightly like she was watching me from the shadows. A chill ran down my spine. I immediately checked my apartment. Sure, it had to be some weird reflection or trick of the light, but the room was empty. No one was there. Shaken, I deleted the post and tried to move on, but it didn't stop. Over the next few weeks, every time I posted a selfie or picture, that same woman appeared in the background. It didn't matter where I was, my living room, a cafe, even my friend's house. She was always there, just barely visible in the reflection of a mirror or window. Sometimes she was closer, sometimes further away, but always watching. I stopped posting pictures, hoping it would stop. But it didn't. The woman started showing up in real life. I'd catch glimpses of her in my bathroom mirror, at the end of the hallway, or even in the reflection of my phone screen. It was like she was following me everywhere I went. One night I was home alone and heard a faint whisper coming from the bathroom. My heart raced as I slowly walked toward the door, my hands shaking. I flicked on the light, and there she was, standing in the mirror, clearer than ever. She wasn't blurry anymore. She wasn't just a reflection. She was real, and she was smiling. After my breakup, I was mindlessly scrolling through Instagram, trying to distract myself. That's when I got a friend request from someone I didn't know. The profile picture was just a blank gray circle, and the username was a random string of numbers. I figured it was just a spam account and accepted it without thinking. That's when things got weird. The account started liking all my old photos, even ones I had posted years ago, vacations, family events, and nights out with friends. Then I got a message. Remember me? I was confused. I replied asking who it was. The response came quickly. We met once, a long time ago. I had no memory of meeting this person, so I thought it was just someone messing with me. But then the messages became unsettling. You used to live on Pine Street, right? And that blue dress you wore to prom looked great. I started to panic. I had never posted anything about my old house or my prom dress on Instagram. I demanded to know how they knew these things. The reply sent chills down my spine. I've always been watching. I blocked the account, but the messages didn't stop. New accounts kept popping up. No posts, no profile pictures, but they all knew things about me that I had never shared online. Details only someone close to me would know. Then one night, I got a photo. It was my childhood bedroom, the room I hadn't seen in over 10 years. Everything was the same, my old furniture, the posters, even the stuffed animals on my bed. But there was something off. In the corner of the room, standing just behind the bed, was a figure. As I looked closer, I realized it was me. I haven't slept properly since. The accounts keep showing up, and each time they send a message, it feels like they know exactly where I am and what I'm doing. Now, they don't just send messages, they send photos. Photos of me, taken in places I don't even remember being. A few months ago, something really weird happened to me, and I'm keeping my name private, but I want to share the story. I'm just an ordinary person with a job I've had for a while. I used to post photos online sometimes, but recently, I started making short videos for fun. To my surprise, a few of them got a lot of likes, and soon, my followers started growing faster than I ever expected. I ended up with over 10,000 followers and kept posting videos every day, whether I was at work, home, or wherever. After about 3 months of doing this, something strange happened. One morning, I checked my social media and saw a new message. I would get messages sometimes, either from viewers or friends, but this one was from a company I didn't recognize. It was verified, had a lot of followers, and seemed legit. They said they liked my videos and wanted to sponsor one. I was excited because I never thought I could make money from my videos. They said they'd send me some products to feature, so we exchanged emails. I even signed a contract, giving them my details, and they said the products would arrive in about a week. Everything seemed fine. I stuck to my usual routine, going to work, coming home. That Thursday, I had a late start at work, so I set my alarm for 9 a.m. to sleep in. But instead of waking up to my alarm, I woke up at 8:30 to the sound of breaking glass. I sat up, confused and scared. Then I heard more noises, like someone was breaking into my house. The sounds were coming from the dining area. My heart was racing. I grabbed my phone and called 911. As I whispered to the operator, I could hear the intruders moving around the house, not even trying to be quiet. It sounded like there were at least 2 people. The operator told me to stay calm and that the police were on their way. I was terrified, but I tried to stay cool. They hadn't come near my bedroom yet, but I didn't have a lock on my door, so I decided to move to the bathroom, which had a lock. I knew I had to be quiet, so I slowly opened my bedroom door and tiptoed toward the bathroom. Just as I was about to reach it, I heard footsteps coming closer. Panicking, I quickly shut the bathroom door and locked it, probably louder than I wanted to. My heart was pounding, but I felt safer with the door locked. After a few seconds, the footsteps seemed to move away, and I heard voices from the other end of the house. Then everything went quiet. I wasn't sure if they had left, so I stayed in the bathroom, waiting. A few minutes later, I heard knocking. It was the police. I came out of the bathroom and opened the door for them. They searched the house, but the intruders were gone. They had broken in through the back window and taken some of my stuff. I was shaken, but relieved that I was okay. I hoped the police would find whoever did this. At first, I didn't connect the break-in to anything strange. But a few days later, when the products from the company never arrived, I tried to message them on Instagram, and their account was gone. That's when things started to make sense. I looked for the company and found their real verified page, which made me realize the one that had contacted me was fake. I had given them my home address in the contract, and they could have known my schedule and details about my house from my posts. It was hard to believe, but it seemed like the fake sponsorship was a setup. Whether it was just a creepy coincidence or something more, I don't know, but it left me feeling really uneasy. 2 months ago, something really creepy happened to me. I'm 21 and in college. I've been using Instagram since high school. One day, I got a follow request from a girl named Amanda. We had taken a photography class together last semester, but we didn't know each other well. We talked a few times and she seemed nice, so I accepted her request and followed her back. She didn't have many pictures, just 5 or 6. Later that day, Amanda messaged me and asked how school was going. We had a short chat about school and work, nothing out of the ordinary. Then she said she needed a camera for a project and asked if she could borrow mine. I didn't think much of it and said yes. She asked for my address so she could pick it up, and I gave it to her. But the next day she messaged me again, saying she didn't need the camera anymore, but thanked me anyway. A couple of nights later, I was in bed around midnight, about to fall asleep, when I heard something outside my window. It sounded like the bushes rustling. I got up, looked outside, and saw a man running away. He was wearing jeans and a red shirt, but I couldn't see his face. I told my roommates, and we were all pretty freaked out. It took me a while to calm down and get back to sleep. About a week later, I ran into Amanda on campus. I said hi and asked her how her project was going. She looked confused and asked, "What project?" I reminded her about the camera, but she had no idea what I was talking about. I pulled out my phone to show her the messages, but they were gone, and her account had been deleted. Then she showed me her real Instagram account, and it was completely different from the one that had messaged me. That's when we realized someone had made a fake account pretending to be her. It was really creepy, but since the account was gone, there wasn't much we could do. The next night, I was home alone doing homework when I heard the bushes rustling again outside my window. Before I could react, there was a knock on the window. My heart sank. I knew it was probably the same guy. Worse, I realized I had left the window open just a little. Suddenly, I saw a hand reaching in, trying to lift the window higher. I grabbed my phone and ran to the bathroom, locking the door behind me. I called the police and whispered to them what was happening. They said they'd be there in 5 minutes. As I sat in the back corner of the bathroom, I could hear the man inside my room walking around. My heart was racing, and I was trying not to make a sound. After a minute, I heard him move into the hallway and then into my roommate's rooms. Finally, he came to the bathroom door and tried the knob. When it didn't open, he just stood there for what felt like forever. Then he spoke. "Come out. I just want to talk," he said, sounding calm. He even chuckled a little, which made my skin crawl. I stayed completely quiet. "Please," he said again, "I'm not going to hurt you." I still didn't say anything. Then in the distance I heard sirens. They got louder, and I felt a wave of relief. Just as the police were getting close, I heard him say, "Now, why'd you have to go and do a thing like that?" Then he walked away. A few moments later, the police arrived. They called out, and I came out of the bathroom. They searched the house and found the man. He turned out to be another student at my university, someone from my photography class last semester. He had created the fake Instagram account to stalk me and get my address. I'm so grateful the police caught him, but it was one of the scariest moments of my life. Last year, I went through something really weird on Instagram. I'm just an average girl, nothing special about my profile. I'd get new followers now and then, but nothing out of the ordinary. One day, though, I logged in and saw I had 36 follow requests, which was way more than usual. The odd part? They were all from much older men, like guys in their 40s and 50s. It creeped me out, so I deleted all the requests. The next morning, I woke up to 57 more follow requests, and again, they were all older men. This kept happening for several days. Every time I checked Instagram, there were dozens of requests from men way older than me. It wasn't just Instagram either. My Facebook started blowing up with friend requests too. I had no idea why this was happening, and I got so freaked out that I ended up deleting all my social media accounts just to make it stop. A few months later, I made new accounts, and thankfully, nothing strange has happened since. I still don't know why it was happening, but it was one of the creepiest experiences I've ever had. Something similar happened to a friend of mine last year. He's 19, and around October, he got a new follower on Instagram. The profile was of a pretty girl who seemed about his age. Her pictures were getting tons of likes, like 200 or 300 per post, and she seemed cool, so he followed her back. The next day, she sent him a message saying, "Hey," and they started chatting. They had a lot in common, and after a week or so of talking, they decided to meet up. She told him she worked downtown and suggested they meet on a certain street after her shift. He was a little nervous, but excited too, so he got there early. When he texted her that he had arrived, she said she was sitting in her black car parked just up the street. She suggested he get in, and they'd go to her favorite spot. But as he got closer to the car, something didn't feel right. The windows were really dark, and as he walked toward it, the car started to move. That's when his gut told him something was wrong. He turned around and ran back to his own car, got in, and drove off. The black car followed him for a while, but he kept making random turns to shake them off. After about half an hour, they finally stopped following him, and he made it home, taking the long way just to be sure. When he got home, the girl's Instagram account was still there, and all their messages were untouched. He reported everything to the police. Later, he found out the girl was real, but her account had been hacked. Whoever was messaging him was trying to set him up. He was pretty shaken by the whole thing, but at least he got out of it safely.